Strong looks different for each of us, and it's time to put focus on our unique journeys that get us there. This space, created weekly, is for athletes to improve their mindset in order to better navigate challenges that come up in sport and in different seasons of life. On this show, we ask the questions that lead to better answers and have the conversations that truly matter. This is the Becoming Your Strong podcast. Hey, you guys, welcome back to another episode of the Becoming Your Strong podcast. Oh my goodness, so much has happened in the last 24 to 48 hours, and I'm so stoked to delve into all of it with you. I think there's so many golden nuggets that you guys are going to grab from this episode. So again, very excited that you're here. Let's start off with the Becoming Your Strong moment of the week. And it feels kind of funny to shout myself out 2 weeks in a row, but I think that there's so many people that are going through what it is that I'm about to share that I have to talk about this. So this morning, I did my second attempt at the Ruck Race League monthly challenge, which this month's challenge is Chronos, which is a race against time. So it's a 60-minute time cap, and you essentially ruck with 20% of your current body weight as far as you can within those 60 minutes. And so I did it at the beginning of the month, and I had a little bit of like a bum foot and ankle that I was dealing with. It's been showing up. It's something that I'm continually working on. I wasn't feeling my best the day that I did it, but I just went out, I did the best that I could, basically did it all in zone 2, felt wonderful, had a blast, and I put up, a pretty respectable score considering the circumstances. And I decided, I was like, I do want to do this again when I'm feeling a little bit better, and so I decided to make that day today. And oh my God, it was so eye-opening. And I want to just set the stage for you guys that I originally looked at the weather and it looked like it was about to be the most beautiful rucking day. Like Dave came up to me and was like, the weather is perfect. It's cool, but not like super chilly. It wasn't windy yet, all of the things. And I was like, heck yes, this is going to be such a great day. I get to Lake McIntosh. That's where I did it. And it starts to like get a little bit cloudy, a little bit chilly. The breeze is cold. It starts to drizzle a little bit, and I'm like, it's fine. Not a big deal. The sun's about to come out a little bit more. Once I start going, I'll get warm. Well, I get my warm-up done, and then I go to where I'm going to start, and I kid you not, within the first 10 minutes of me trying to do this, I had wind. I don't even know what the mile per hour was on this wind that was blowing me all the way across the trail, like to the other side of this trail. And I couldn't even breathe. Like it was like coming from the side. And I struggled to actually breathe out of my nose and out of my mouth because it was so intense. My hair was going everywhere. It was hard to go forward because you're getting this weird like side breeze. Well, not breeze. It was a literal gust of wind that was just constant. And so I had to turn my head to the side in order for me to breathe. And I was just thinking to myself, like, this sucks. I don't think I can do this today. Like this is just telling me like, it's not it. It's not the day for this. I kept going and I thought about this quote that I had seen recently. And I talked about this a little bit on my Instagram on Monday, but this quote essentially was saying that your training is not about making race day feel easier, but rather about building up the mental toughness to overcome and better tolerate discomfort. In that moment, when I thought of that, I started thinking future facing around BRIX championships. I just got the very first workout released, and this endurance workout is a 90-minute cap. Guys, it is a monster of a workout. Like it's a lot to swallow. And I think about how much what I'm doing right now is going to apply to that. I think about the fact that I just committed to a Deca-Mile ruck when I travel out to Connecticut in a few weeks, and I'm going to commit to a Deca-Mile Deca Fit ruck. So I'm literally like running right now. What I'm doing, this training that I'm doing mentally and physically is going to prepare me for those future races that I do. And I just kept thinking about all these big goals that I have for myself this year. And I just thought, Kayla, it's these moments right here, what I'm going through, when nothing is ideal at any stretch. This is right here. This is what's going to help me better tolerate discomfort when those races hit. and believe in myself when it truly, truly matters. And that's what leads into the topic of today, which is to stop waiting for shit to get easy, you guys, because I'm sorry, it's never going to. I know that when I am like training and I'm doing like a sim of a race that I'm getting ready to do in a couple of weeks, or a workout or a test that I'm getting ready to do in a couple of weeks, when I feel the discomfort, it's really easy for my mind to start to go south and think, I'm not ready for this. Oh my gosh, this is going to be terrible. Literally all the things. It's so easy to go there. But when I start thinking about this quote, I become a better athlete. I become a better human. I become so much better in how I'm showing up and attacking things because I'm not shying away from the hard. I know that it's going to be hard, but I've done hard. I've done hard over and over again since 2018 when I decided to change my damn life, folks. So what in the world is going to stop me from doing the hard right here? Nothing. Okay. I just want you guys to stop waiting for things to get easier because it never will, and you will waste your talent and potential if you continue to wait. And that was the conversation that got me through this morning, and I did it. I put up a fantastic time. I broke the top 10 again on the global leaderboard. It was a great moment for me, and so I'm hoping that that story lets you know again that you're not alone in these mental battles that you have, and gives you some fire, some fuel, something to think about when you're hitting those moments within your training. Now, to go into the topic of this week, I want to talk about some things that happened this weekend at the Cerus BRIX Semi-Finals. I had 2 goals going into this weekend. The first one was to give my absolute best that I could, and hopefully that would be enough to make the leader spot going into finals. I was the leader last year. I won the Open. I won the semifinals. I was the overall leader going into championships, and then I won the championships. I wanted to have a repeat of that because it's fun, and it's a great goal for me to continue to push myself against a really fantastic group of women. The secondary goal was to show up the best version of me and to enjoy every single moment that I could. These 2 goals, while I totally believe that they can exist together, there was a moment this weekend where they didn't coexist and there was a little bit of conflict, and I'll share that here in a little bit as far as like what the outcome was of this weekend. But this is where I want to start. If you show up the most genuine and authentic version of you, the results that you desire will come as a byproduct. I've shared this once before. I've been very open lately about feeling like I've lost a little bit of my sparkle and sunshine lately, and I have not been chasing moments of joy. And this weekend, I wanted to feel that again. I wanted to find myself back in that headspace. I had multiple conversations with myself in the week leading up to this semifinals, and I decided that the person that I wanted to show up as was the confident woman who believed in herself and her own talents and wasn't going to chase after the strengths and talents of others, basically working within my own means. I wanted to be the woman who inspires others to keep going when I have nothing left to give in the tank, but I just find a way to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And I also wanted to be the woman that was the loudest cheerleader in the room and let the other girls, the other competitors, that even though we were competing for a spot in the finals and had the same goals in mind, that I wanted to know that I was there with them, cheering them on to their wins and their PRs and whatever it is that they were looking to accomplish. I also wanted to be able to find those moments within the different workouts where I got to celebrate myself and just find those moments where I could just be grateful that I'm doing the things that I love. And I can definitely say I'm very happy to report that there were so many of those this weekend. Like, I remember being in the thick of like one of the endurance workouts, and things were hurt and I was breathing heavy and I was just smiling. Like, it naturally came because I was like, this is why I do this. Like, I love this feeling of like, you think that you can't, but you just do. And it's so freaking cool. So with that, I want to share this. For those of you with big goals and expectations of yourself, I encourage you to ask yourself who you need to be in order to accomplish those goals over what it is that you need to do. When it comes down to the big moment, you guys, your training will do absolutely nothing for you. if you are not showing up the most authentic version of you that runs their own race versus running the race of others. And I can tell you guys, my stats from this weekend prove that over and over again. I felt so relaxed, dialed in, joyful the entire day. And because of that, I walked away with an event 1 win where I crushed people on the endurance event by over 2 minutes. I won event 2 where I was the only person to go underneath 8 minutes, which I'm not going to explain what the event is, but I was the only person of the entire day to go 8 minutes. In event 1, I was the second place time. I was only 40 seconds behind the top male of the day. I was the second fastest person through event 1. Event 3, I PR'd my lift. My goal was to get 135 over my head. I ended up getting 145 over my head on the clean and jerk. Guys, it was awesome. I was so stinking proud of how I showed up and what came as a byproduct of that. Now, I did mention that I had another goal for this weekend, and that was to hopefully walk away as the overall leader. And after hearing my results, you're probably thinking that there was no doubt that I did. Guys, I was under the same impression that I had it in the bag until I looked at everything at the end and realized that I got passed up on the very last workout. So essentially, this last workout was, if you've ever heard of Curtis P's before, it's essentially a hang clean into a lunge, into a lunge, into a push press. We, instead of doing a push press, we did a thruster. And the ladies did this at 8 reps. I'm sorry, not at 8 reps. They did it at 85 pounds versus the 65 pounds that most of these kind of CrossFit-based movements are done at. So it was heavier. And you had to do these reps unbroken without dropping the bar. So it was 2 reps of the whole complex. Then you would go on a run, and then you would do 4, go on a run, 6, 8, 10, and you would be done once you finished 10 and went on that final run. So it was a very tough event where you just had to hold on for dear life, and everything, like your shoulders, your lungs, just everything was failing and on fire. And it was a very aggressive time cap of 12 freaking minutes. After I PR'd my lift, actually I should say this, the lift that I was just talking about that I PR'd was 3 minutes right before that. So you did the lift first, and then part B was the Curtis T's. So I was on cloud 9. I was like, I did the dang thing. I'm so happy. And I just felt so content with where I was at for the day. And again, just like the results that I got and who I showed up as, that I like wasn't worried about being the overall winner of this next workout. I was just like, I'm going to do my best and I want to hang on as best as I can. Guys, I got comfortable. I decided that when it got hard, which was right around that 8 rep, well, actually it was when I was on the 10 rep, the final rep there, I was tied for first place with the other girl that was right there with me the entire day. She was taking second on the events that I took first on. Like, we were very neck and neck the entire day. We were on our last set of 10, and I got to rep 7, and my shoulders were like, I don't think I could do another one. And I put the bar on my back, and I just looked up, and I had about 40 seconds left, and I looked at Dave, and I was like, I'm good. Like, I don't feel the need to continue to go any further because I don't really want to hurt myself. I've also did so well today. I don't really have a ton of steam left in the tank. Like, I'm good. I got comfortable because I knew that I was going to championships regardless, and I just threw in the towel. And guys, I paid so hard for that. I made a conscious decision. I will say this. I made a conscious decision to not look at the leaderboard after each event that I had done that day because of my other goal, which was to be present and just enjoy the moment that I was in. So I did just that. And I'm very proud of myself for doing that because I feel like I enjoyed the day that much more because I didn't do that. But what came as a byproduct of that, unfortunately, was that I didn't know where the standings were and where it is that I realistically needed to be. And had I done that, I would have had that extra fire in the last workout to stay with her the entire time and not give up in the last 40 seconds. But I didn't. And that's where the goals collided for me. And I had to sit with that. And I had to be okay with the decision that I made. I'm still today sitting with a little bit of frustration around the whole thing. However, I don't regret it. As much as it frustrates me, I don't regret it. I am so thankful for these types of moments because I learned a lesson this weekend. I learned a lesson for championships, and you better believe I will not fall fate to what I did this weekend. So these next few weeks of training, I'm going to be leaning into the hard. And when I'm experiencing that and I'm moving slower and I'm just like, gosh, I can't breathe, it hurts, I'm going to go back to that place that I went this morning and remember that all of this is going to build my tolerance to go the extra mile that I will need, that I just didn't have this weekend. I didn't have it. And that's okay. But you better believe I'm going to have it in the weekend of championships because of what I'm doing today and every day moving forward until that moment. So you better believe that's what my training is going to look like from here on out. Guys, there's so many golden nuggets coming from this episode, and I want you to leave today's episode with these ones specifically being the ones that you keep in your awareness. Stop waiting for it to get easier and let the discomfort build you. Focus on who you want to show up as, and I promise you the rest will come. Lastly, let the downfalls be the map to your next summit. Thank you guys so much for showing up for you today, and I hope that this episode truly impacted you. If you did, rate, review the podcast if you've not done so already, and be sure to share with friends, family, other athletes that you love and adore that need to hear these messages to keep them going full throttle in their training and in their lives. So again, thank you guys for giving me the space to grow and just be a badass with you guys. I'm so excited to see how you apply these things. And I will see you guys next week for another episode of Becoming Your Strong. See you then.